in the Fish Creek area, which of course is south of Carver, and it's in the southernmost portion of Maplewood, you know, right butting up next to Newport there. It's actually Maplewood's only Mississippi critical area there is. And of course the question is, should we buy the 72 acres that is currently for sale by the receiver, or should we only buy 20 acres? Now, of course, this came up at a recent council meeting, but, you know, there were very little in the way of real details. So, of course, the council, not wanting to know all the details, you know, basically said, well, we understand that the staff recommends this and that, and they tell us what this risk is. And then, of course, then they opened it up for citizen comments, and some citizens wanted more details so that that way, perhaps a better decision could be made. So I hope that we are ready with some of our film footage. Yep, we are. So let's show some film footage, and then we'll come back and talk about those details.
Hats on under this issue. One, of course, is a citizen of Maplewood, 1771 Burr Street, and also as a business owner in Maplewood at 1321 Frost Avenue East. Now, of course, I have a couple questions, first of all, in trying to understand some of these options. When we're talking about the lot sales, do we have any statistics as to what the average price per square foot is right now that vacant lots that are buildable are being sold for today in Maplewood? Do we have any statistics on that?
No.
Okay.
Why would that little detail be important? Well, you see, it doesn't matter if you're looking at Proposal A or Proposal B. It includes that the city, after buying some of this property, will have lots that it is going to be putting up for sale so people can build houses on these lots. Well, wouldn't you like to know whether or not, if you're going to be entering into the land business, what lots might be going for, what your competition is, and whether or not you're even going to have a market?
I think the other thing to ask is, could we have gotten this whole property without ever going into it? I was at the the use deal when they were actually, before it was given to the council. And I had brought up at one of their meetings that maybe they should be looking at going to one of the Nature Conservancy is one group, but there's quite a few of them out there that are trying to save land. The problem is, and this is what bothers me about the whole thing, they're talking about being good Joes. They aren't good Joes when you're running your own little thing underneath it. If we could save all the money for you and me and everybody else in the city and still have the same land and be able to keep it open for natural nature and the animals, it would be worthwhile for us to do that, right. I think.
And so, and your point is that does it really matter who owns it if the objective is met to preserve the Mississippi critical area?
Well, the only issue is, as far as I'm concerned, and I think as far as they're concerned, is the difference between my suggestion and their suggestion is that in my suggestion, they wouldn't be able to take and get their developers to come in there and build the buildings on it. In my case, if the Conservancy gave it to us, and I understand the Conservancy would come up with the money in the first place, but in this situation here, we would not be putting any money out except for in any type of nature protection. Mm-hmm. But in truth, as far as anything else goes, it would be left fallow, because that's part of the agreement with any of these groups that would buy it for us. They would say, you have to leave it as is. And what you're having is the mayor say, I don't want to look at this, and you have the little research group saying, we don't want to look at this because of, if we sign that agreement, we'd have the land, but we couldn't do anything with it.
We wouldn't have any control. That's right. That's right. Well, let's continue on. I think there's some more questions. Let's see if the mayor has any answers.
So I'm thinking of a couple of pieces of property. Certainly one, there's the development over there off of McMenemy, where those are ready to build lots. I believe the streets are even already built for that development, and it's not far from my home.